Good evening, colleagues, and thank you for attending this meeting. This time we have to discuss about the complaints of the dissatisfied customers. And in this case, we have 5 complaints to answer. So, in my opinion, the priority we must give are, firstly, looking for resolve the problem with the baggage of Marta Gomez, and taking into account that she's in London now and she doesn't have money. She needs her clothes, her documents, and some expensive jewelry. We must report in the lost and found office at the airport the priority in sending this baggage to the destination where the passenger is in this moment. What's your position on?
That seems logical. It's essential that we give priority to Marta Gomez since she is in a complex situation because Laura says Marta has money or clothes, and it's important.
Well, further reading her email, I have come to the conclusion that Ms. Gomez's situation does seem very important, but I don't believe it should be our first priority. Although she did mention her suitcase has not been returned to her and she has some important documents and expensive clothes and jewelry, she does not mention the fact that she's without money. I do understand her situation needs to be resolved as soon as possible, though, but I think there's another case that should be our priority number one.
Okay, the first point in this case of the customer Marta Gomez, she flew from New York to London. She loves her suitcase and budgets. The aim of this is finding and sending as soon as possible is the hand of our client. The possible solutions is to communicate with the budget handlers at the John F. Kennedy Airport and reporting the localization and situation of the actual suitcase. Then send the budgets of the next flight with the same destination. The fit is to deliver the package in the localization of the Madam for the Havlet living in the future occasion, implement sign policies for localization and delivering suitcase to about future so and dissatisfaction of the customer side.
Okay, Natalie, that seems logical. I agree with you. And secondly, it's very important attending to Jake's superior because he's a disabled man. We will verify the special condition of the passenger because there may be a claim, and since in the order of priorities he can have an advantage. Also, the review will be done according to the regulations, specifically low-cost airline, and we to solve this requirement, but also take care of our reputation. So, do you have any particular views on this point?
In complete agreement, it's important to resolve this situation as soon as possible. I mean, Jacques the pair needs an answer, and of course, additionally, we should avoid any kind of claims. Diana, what is your position in this case?
I definitely see where you're coming from, but I must disagree. I believe Mr. Duperier's case should be our priority to solve as he's threatening to go public with his claim, and that could cause irreparable damage to our company. I think this case should be handled carefully and should be our number one top priority.
Okay, I am in agreement with Laura and Heidi because the priority is the good service to disabled people and should not be shared an extra shirt in this ticket, and that they have an appropriate and comfortable space.
Okay, that's exactly the point I was trying to make prioritize. We will review internal regulations to give a solution to the passenger in a pregnant state. Taking into account that the passenger has already traveled, we may have violated more when this is a special condition. We must guarantee the good service and the story of our passenger. The service was not according to what was required.
That's just the point I was trying to make. It's possible to find a solution to the complaints that Christina Kamelski put. Simply regret the seat map a bit. It's my opinion about this.
I would also like to add that the real root of the problem could be from our customer service. As mentioned in the email, the customer had tried to reach out to the stewardess about her problem and that her child was far from her, which should have been alarming to her, and that should have been handled in the flight. And it's quite concerning the response she got from the desk representative as well. In this case, we should definitely look into more in-depth customer service training to all of our staff to better handle this type of situations so that the problem can be solved in flight rather than receiving emails later and not being able to solve it immediately.
I think this case is disturbing because our customer services is not providing the criteria of quality and high care for women in pregnancy. I reckon we need to restructure the system of the customer service with the training and the tests before attending the emails of our customers.
Of course, I agree with all of you, and our customer service is not so good in this moment. We are solutions. And number four, the passenger Robert Mackenzie tell us that he had a last minute for which change his flights. And also, there could have been bad attention on the part of the sales assistant at the airport. At the moment, she was attending his request. But it is clear that our policies of travel indicate that the costs such as and or cancellations, which must be assumed by the client without exception. What do you think?
You haven't convinced me. If you ask me, the case of passenger Kirdason should be the following because it's not the customer's fault that the flight was delayed and additionally have to pay extra money for unplanned situation. What do you reckon, Diana?
Um, I definitely agree with Heidi, and to further add to prioritize this case over Mr. McKenzie's case, I think we could potentially lose a customer who really understands how the airline works and was otherwise satisfied with it. We would need to further investigate, but it doesn't seem like the problem. It does seem like the problem was from our end, and it's in no way her fault. The flight was canceled, and first it was delayed, then it was canceled, and as he mentioned, the additional cost was not covered by us. So I think that is something we should really look into.
I want to add to the case of the frequent customers for Kurt Danson, the possibility of giving a VIP card where you about doing the check-in, the long lines before boarding can also has priority rooms with less quantity of people, and that could have a free transporting services among the airport and the hotels.
That's not the way I see it all. Because in anyway, the passenger must be aware of our policies and get an answer to his request. But finally, not least, passenger Kirk Dunston, who is a frequent traveler of our airline, but who had an inconvenience with the delay of his flight and later the cancellation. This passenger incurred expenses for lodging and transportation, and also we must evaluate the causes of the cancellation of the flight. We can also consider the passenger protection since it was affected and requests a refund. Are you?
I believe Mr. McKenzie's case should be our last priority, as this should help us reevaluate our customer service. He mentioned that before having to go to the airport, he had tried to call and email us, and we offered no answer. If we had answered him promptly, he could have avoided the $300 penalty, and perhaps this problem could have been avoided. So I think that the most important thing is to focus in our the way that we answer emails and the way that we respond to phone calls, as we in all the emails we in all the complaints we have seen that they complain about the not being able to reach out to our phone line and our emails.
Mr. Mackenzie have an emergency problem. For this reason, this decide to change the date of the time of flight. Our company is ready to charge a fine for $300 for losing and change the date when our policy said they have around the 14 days. The wisest thing is to share Mr. Robert $5 to every member of his family and changing the date and time of his flight. Since it is a domestic calamity and the priority of the airline is going to satisfaction the customers and his families, and send an email offering apologize for charging such amount.
Ray, we will resolve this case according to established order between 15 business days. Okay, thank you for coming to meeting.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Have a good one.